The top 5 vendors of voting systems in the United States are using computers and components that are manufactured overseas. For the most part, they're manufactured in the People's Republic of China. In China in particular, they advance persistent threats. Some of them are massive organizations. I'm talking about organizations with 12,000 or more people. They have whole campuses. They're larger than, many U.S. universities, larger than many U.S. defense organizations. And they are solely focused on the exploitation and penetration and infiltration of U.S. and Western technology. We've had numerous supply chain compromises of critical national security systems in the last 8 years. Not one time has the Election Assistance Commission put out any kind of a warning. They still have not warned all the election officials, nor the public, nor notified Congress that these issues were happening. Instead, they have allowed us to use them in election after election, certifying the elections, and they pretended everything was okay.
The Threat System Management Office basically simulates threat. We basically played bad guy. I went and talked to, at the time it was Wiley Labs. They said, hey, we want you to do an independent assessment of our testing procedures that we have and evaluate it. So they said, we're going to provide your report up to the EAC to show that you've assessed us and where we stand and all that. So in order to do that, I, of course, first have to see, well, what are you testing to? What are the standards, the requirements? The very first thing I found is the VVSGs were inadequate. I always refer to them as they weren't standards, they were substandard, because they are not sufficient. These are systems that if you were looking at an overall industry organization, these would be your critical systems, just like the ones that process your credit card payments. After I've hacked into a system, I write the report. I would say for your normal, what's referred to as a kiddie scripter, which knows about hacking tools and knows how to use some of the tools, but has no basic knowledge of systems really well. And this is people who can just watch a few YouTubes on Kali Linux or something like that and get into these systems.
On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most difficult, how easy is it to hack into these systems?
So, as foreign adversaries, you're talking about advanced persistent threat level players. So can I go to a 0.5 instead of a 1 as the lowest, since that's not a 0?
When you do the financials for a major corporation, what an auditor does is what they do is they go in and they look at the systems, and there's a lot of work that's done there. You got to make sure there's no gaps, no way that this system is going to come up and generate the wrong number. Across the country, when you've got systems that are in use in these elections and you can't look at them, we can't even have access to them. I mean, it's beyond belief. Any of those things in front of a board, they'd say to the management, the CEO, get it fixed right now, and that's it. It's not an if, it needs to be fixed right now. And if there's a system that bad, get rid of it. We don't want it. If you don't have support for the numbers, find it or make the adjustments. You're putting us at huge risk here. And the same with the processes. If you've got processes where people are able to do things behind closed doors and you're not letting the auditor see that, that needs to be addressed right now. Who's going to be fired? That's the way it is. And so when you compare that to this election of 2020, absolutely, it was stolen because it never should have been certified.